Silence isn't always peaceful. Sometimes it feels wrong. Heavy watching, and that's exactly how it started, with the man next door. House number 27. An old wooden house, leaning slightly to one side at the very end of our street. I'd moved there 2 years ago. New job, new city, new life. Everything felt ordinary at first, except for him, my neighbor, an old man. I never learned his name because I never once saw him leave that house. Not a single time. At first, I didn't think much of it. Some people just keep to themselves. Quiet life. Retired maybe. But then I started noticing things. His curtain stayed shut. Every day. Without fail. But the lights inside, those were never normal. On, off, flickering at random hours of the night. Like someone was pacing back and forth. But no one ever walked out. No deliveries. No visitors. No garbage on collection day. Nothing, as if the house existed, but the outside world simply didn't apply to it. I asked a few neighbors about him. They all dodged the question. One woman finally said, "You shouldn't think about that house too much." That was all. Nothing else. That should have been enough to make me stop. But curiosity turns dangerous once it starts growing inside your head. The first real incident happened on a Tuesday night. I was walking home late, around 2 am. The street was empty, dead silent, except for one thing. House 27. Every light in every room was on, blazing too bright, like someone wanted it to be seen. I stopped walking, just stood there staring, and then I saw movement behind the curtain, slow, deliberate, like something was watching me back. My stomach dropped. Then, all at once, the lights went out. Darkness, as if none of it had happened. The next morning I went to the landlord. I needed answers. The second I mentioned House 27, he went quiet. Completely still. Then he said, "No one has lived there in years." I laughed, nervous. Then who's turning the lights on? He didn't answer. Just looked away. That's when I knew something was wrong. 2 nights later, I heard knocking. Not on my door, on the wall. The shared wall between our 2 houses. 3 slow knocks. Bang, 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 I froze. Then it came again. Same rhythm, same force, like something was inside the wall itself. I pressed my ear against it. Nothing, then a whisper, barely audible, coming straight through the wall. "I can see you." I stumbled back instantly, heart pounding. I ran to the window, looked outside. House 27 was completely dark. No lights, no movement, nothing at all. The next day, I installed a camera pointed at his house, just to be sure I wasn't losing my mind. That night I watched the feed. Nothing at first, just darkness. Then, at 1:47 am, the porch light flicked on, slowly, as if someone had just brushed against the switch. Then the front door opened, just a crack. My breath caught in my throat. A shadow stood inside, tall, motionless, watching, but here's the part that still doesn't make sense. The camera only showed the door opening. No one ever stepped outside. Then the door closed, and the lights went dark again. I couldn't take it anymore. I called the police. They arrived the next morning, 2 officers. Calm, confident, right up until they stepped inside House 27. I waited outside. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Then I heard a shout. Not fear, confusion, then silence. After that, they came out slowly. One of them had gone pale. The other wouldn't speak at first. I asked what they'd seen. The first officer finally said, "There's no furniture in there." I froze. "That's not possible." He shook his head. "No bed, no chairs, nothing." Then the second officer added something worse. "There are mannequins." We went in together. The house was completely empty. Bare white walls, dust everywhere. No sign that anyone had ever lived there. Except the mannequins. Dozens of them. Standing in every room, facing different directions, perfectly still. Some seated, some standing. Some positioned right by the windows as if they'd been watching the street. My skin crawled. But something still didn't add up. If no one lived here, who was turning the lights on? Then I saw it. A small ladder leading down into a basement. The officers exchanged a look. We climbed down. Slowly, one step at a time. The air grew colder, heavier, and then we saw it. A single chair sitting in the middle of the basement, and on it sat an old man, perfectly still, eyes wide open, not blinking once. He looked exactly like one of the mannequins upstairs. But then he moved, just slightly. His head tilted, and he smiled. One of the officers whispered, "Sir, how long have you been down here?" The old man didn't answer. Instead, he slowly raised a hand and pointed upward, toward the house above us. And then he said something that still haunts me. They helped me stay outside. Before any of us could react, the lights flickered. Once, twice, then everything went black. When backup arrived 5 minutes later, the old man was gone. The chair sat empty. But upstairs, something had changed. The mannequins were no longer facing the windows. They were all facing the basement door. Every single one. At the exact same time. The case was closed. No evidence of any suspect. But I knew what I saw. Because the very next night, my camera picked up something new. The lights in house 27 turned on again. But this time, there were more shadows inside than before. And one of them looked exactly like me. Standing in the window, smiling. And now, every night at 1:47 am, my own lights start to flicker, just like his used to.